Your Launchpad is an altar of important things. Keys, wallet, phone, lists, maybe mask, water bottle, flashlights. Those things should all be in some kind of a little table or basket or hooks next to your front door. It's a visual cue to remind yourself to give everything a once over, to pause, to remember what you're doing, and to get yourself prepared before stepping out the door and doing awesome at whatever it is that you are headed to. But just remember to do a visual sweep. This can be a really great way to make sure that the oven's not on before you leave the house, or something that happens all too commonly. So use it as a reminder to slow down, get everything you need, and remember where you're going and why. Next up, visual cues. What are visual cues and why do we use them? How do we use them? So visual cues are the stimuli that remind you to do any behavior, any pattern of behavior. So for example, you might come home and you see the light on the front porch or a chair on the front porch, and this reminds you of smoking cigarettes, so you have a cigarette. And it'll trigger that behavior just seeing that place where you always have a cigarette. So you need to learn to see the links between those visual stimuli and those visual cues and your behavior, so that you can start to transition to more beneficial loops consciously, or intentional loops at least. So you're going to want to increase the number of positive visual cues in your environment and diminish the number of negative cues as you identify visual stimuli that are associated with negative behavior patterns. So put up positive mantras around your home, any important lists and calendars. Put all those visual cues to remember to do things in prominent places. Make sure that those cues are big and colorful. They should look fun and engaging. Switch it up as often as you need to. And another great visual cue is using dry erase markers on things like windshields, windows, mirrors. You can also have a dry erase board. I find it really useful so that I'm not constantly going through sticky notes for things that I just need to put down real quick and then scratch off as I get to it. So visual cues, increase the positive ones, and there'll be less room for negative ones as you identify those. Next up, we will talk about crossroads moments. These are critical junctures where, often it'll start with some kind of a visual cue, and you will have the opportunity to engage in a repetitive pattern of behavior, a sort of familiar pattern of behavior. It's like when you're watching a movie and you know exactly what's going to happen in the scene because you've seen a movie like this before. So when you start to feel like, oh, I've seen this scene before, then think about what is the benefit of the action I'm about to take. And that can be a huge, that can relieve a lot of the pressure on you to make for what kind of decision you're going to make. It can really clarify things to say, what's the benefit here of this behavior that I'm about to engage in? And if you can do that before taking the action, then you've used a crossroad moment and decided to go, down a more beneficial loop. If you can't avoid certain triggers, then and you have trouble making a better decision, at least try to delay your bad choice. So plan like a little distraction, sing a little song, do some push-ups, just put off the bad choice a little bit. Remind yourself of any mantras even that help you forgive yourself and also hold yourself accountable at the same time. which can be a tough circle to square a little bit. Next, write down some facts about the situation, which might help you make a more rational decision. Writing down facts can make it easier to make the right choice in a crossroad moment. And again, don't punish yourself when you've made the same old familiar mistake. Just get back on track and commit to doing better next time, because stress and a sense of shame at your failure is just going to be detrimental.